I remember very clearly the day everything started to change. I was 14, sitting at the bottom of the stairs in our old wooden house, peeking through the railing, eavesdropping on the argument between my parents. It wasn't the first time they raised their voices, but this time felt different. There was something in their tone that sent chills down my spine. Mom said she was tired. Dad kept repeating that he no longer felt happy in this marriage. Every word they spoke felt like they were tearing at my heart's skin. No child is ever ready for their parents to divorce. I wasn't either. A week later, Dad packed his things. He hugged me tightly before leaving, but I didn't hug back. I didn't cry. I stood there like a tree uprooted, numb and emotionless. Dad moved to another state where his new woman lived. Mom and I stayed behind. Everything became eerily quiet after that. Dinner was just the two of us. Mom stopped smiling as much as she used to. I tried not to let her see my sadness because I knew she was holding herself together too. Once I overheard Mom on the phone with my aunt. He's pretending to be okay? But every time I see him sitting by the window, my heart feels like it's being crushed. I don't know if Mom heard me crying at night. I buried my face in my pillow so no one would hear. Many nights I dreamed of our family going back to how it was. 3 people eating dinner. Dad watching soccer on TV, Mom reading on the sofa, me lying on the floor hugging our dog. But then I'd wake up, and the room would be empty again. School didn't help. None of my friends understood. Everyone seemed to have a complete family, or at least appeared so. I gradually withdrew, living like a shadow. I lost interest in grades and stopped talking to anyone. The only thing that kept me going was Mom's worried eyes and the dinners she forced herself to cook even after exhausting shifts at the hospital. Slowly, I learned to live without a father. But the scar from the divorce remained, never fully healing. After Dad left, Mom became my entire world. She wasn't the hugging, gentle kind of mom like in the movies, but her love was real, quiet, and persistent. She never said, "I love you" every day, but I felt it in small things. The clean clothes she folded at the foot of my bed, the lunchbox always packed, the light she left on in the kitchen when I came home late. Every morning, Mom woke at 5 a.m. to cook breakfast before starting her shift at the hospital. She was the head nurse, often working late into the night. I learned to take care of myself. Sometimes I cooked dinner. Sometimes I survived on instant noodles or cold sandwiches. But no matter how tired she was, Mom always asked, "Have you eaten? Are you okay today?" Her "Are you okay today?" repeated like a prayer. We didn't talk much, but every evening, when she came home and changed out of her nurse uniform, I'd sit with her at the dinner table, telling her a few things about my day, sometimes about school, sometimes just trivial stuff like the rain or a tough math test. She'd nod, eyes heavy with exhaustion, but always listening. On weekends, Mom took me to Walmart, then the city library. She loved reading medical books and learning online, even though no one asked her to. I'd wander among the teen novels, rarely borrowing anything. I liked sitting there, in the quiet space, feeling Mom nearby, a fragile safety net in a life falling apart. One day, Mom came home later than usual. Her face was pale, sweat beading on her temples even though it was cold outside. I asked if she was okay. She just smiled weakly. "I'm just tired." Probably from the night shifts. I wanted to believe her, or maybe I just needed to. But inside, I knew something was wrong. The next month, Mom started coughing a lot. She said it was allergies. Then she lost weight. When I asked, she shook her head. "Nothing to worry about. Middle-aged women lose weight sometimes." I wasn't a child anymore. I knew something was seriously wrong. But I was scared to ask, scared of the answer. No matter what, I tried to live as normally as possible. I went to school, did my homework, kept the house tidy, bought medicine for Mom. I felt older than my years. My friends still went to movies, played games, argued with their parents over little things. I counted pills and worried about bills and gas money. I didn't feel anger, not because I was strong, but because I knew Mom was all I had left. The day Mom went for her first CT scan at the hospital, I didn't know. She said she was working an extra morning shift. But that afternoon, she sat quietly on the sofa, not turning on the TV, not eating, not looking at me. When I asked, she said simply, "I'm a little tired." 3 days later, I found an envelope in her purse while looking for insurance papers to pay tuition. I hadn't meant to snoop, but I saw it. On the corner of the letter was bold, Text, biopsy results left breast, urgent follow-up needed. My heart tightened painfully. That night, I waited for Mom in the living room. When she came in, I couldn't hold back. Mom, you have cancer, don't you? She paused, clutching her bag strap. A silence stretched like an eternity. Then she nodded. Yes, but it's okay, honey. I'll fight it. I'll be fine. I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, my throat tight. And Mom, who had always been stronger than anyone I'd ever known, sank down into the chair and cried. For the first time in my life, I saw her cry. The months that followed were unforgettable. Mom started chemotherapy. Her hair fell out after only 3 treatments. I helped shave her head, my hands shaking so badly I almost hurt her. She smiled softly. It's okay. I've never seen my head so round before. She tried to stay positive, but I saw her throw up every morning, her face pale as wax. Some days she couldn't get out of bed. I missed school a few times to take care of her, lying to the school that I had a cold. The hospital was 40 minutes away. I took her there, then sat for hours in the hallway, reading old books and listening to footsteps of passing doctors. Once I overheard a nurse say, "Her case is severe. It has metastasized." I didn't know what metastasized meant then, but I saw Mom grow weaker. Her skin turned yellow and gray, her eyes hollow, yet still looked at me as if to say, "I'm sorry I can't stay longer with you." I had thought we'd have a few more years, but cancer gave us no time. That Christmas, I hung lights alone, made cards alone, wrapped presents for Mom alone. She couldn't leave her bed anymore. I made her favorite soup and brought it upstairs. She ate a few spoonfuls and grabbed my hand. "You're so brave." "I know you'll be okay, even if I'm not here." I shook my head, tears falling uncontrollably. "Don't say that, Mom. I need you. Don't leave me." She looked at me and smiled. A fragile smile like the last light before darkness. Mom passed away on a winter morning. When snow gently began falling outside the window, I woke to the unusual silence. No coughing, no weak breathing, just cold emptiness. I walked into her room. She lay on her side, eyes closed, lips slightly parted as if asleep. I knew immediately. No need to touch or shake her. I just knew. I stood there a long time, not crying. My mind blank. My limbs numb. The only feeling was a heavy weight crushing my chest, making it hard to breathe. Then came ambulances, police, doctors, paperwork. I heard them say she passed peacefully. "Do you have any relatives?" "We will contact social services." Everything felt like a movie I didn't want to watch. I had no close family, Dad? He hadn't called in over 2 years. When I texted him the news, he replied with one line. "Sorry. Let me know if you need anything." I didn't answer. Mom's funeral was a gloomy afternoon. Only a few former co-workers, one neighbor lady, and me. No music, no flowers, just a wooden coffin in a cold, small room. I stood alone before it, looking at Mom's face one last time. She looked like she was sleeping, but I knew she would never wake. After the funeral, I returned to the empty house. Everything was still where it was. The smell of medicine, the ginger tea Mom used to brew, lingered in the air. But she was gone. That night, I sat on the living room floor, curled up in an old wool blanket. Snow piled thick outside the window. I stared at the streetlight shining through the curtains, silently. I didn't know how I was going to live. I wasn't legally old enough to live on my own. No one would take me in. I became a case for Youth Protective Services. They said they'd arrange a temporary center for me, but I didn't go. I ran away. I slept at home until the social workers showed up. Then I left, carrying a backpack, some savings,